Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I need a motion for the acceptance of the agenda. Molly, second. Margaret, any questions? All in favor? Okay. Anybody for public? Okay. I need a motion for the acceptance of the consensus agenda. Motion? Heidi, second. Margaret? Any questions? All in favor? Okay. So we're going to move around here. We're going to do number 7, which is the granting of tenure. We're going to do that first to get the meeting started. All right, so I need a motion for be it resolved the Board of Education by recommendation of the superintendent of schools grant tenure to Darby D'Elia, 7 through 12 assistant principal in the area of assistant principal, effective March 1st, 2025. Motion, please. Ron, second. Rick? Any questions? All in favor? Before we have our cupcakes over there, I just wanted to say a few words about Darby. Darby, congratulations.
Thank you.
So these are things that I've noticed and some other people, have brought to my attention about Darby. She's been with the district since 2000. She started as a social studies teacher, Darby?
Yep.
Yes. And she became an administrator in 2021. She's a team player, and she's amazing with technology, which I saw firsthand for sure. She's very good with that. She's a learner, a leader, and she's driven to succeed. So, I'm glad that you got tenure.
Thank
And
you.
congratulations. So now we can eat cupcakes. And actually, I think Mike wanted to say something, right, Mike?
I did.
Okay.
I just want to say that I first met Darby when I worked here 18 years ago. Darby was one of the union representatives, and so we got to know each other a little bit that way. When I interviewed to come back, Darby was on the interview committee, and I was extremely excited about that because even back 18 years ago, when she's union representative, Darby would come to me with an issue, but she never came without a solution, right, or an idea for a solution. She still does that today. If there's ever an issue, she's the first one that has an idea of how we want to handle it. She's the ultimate professional. The way she speaks to children and adults alike, high level professionalism. Always been extremely impressed with how she articulates herself, expresses herself, and handles situations. She's a true thought partner. So when we go to work on a new situation, something comes up, whether it be data, whether it be working on our tier 1 instruction, prepared for our faculty meetings, whatever the case might be. We bounce ideas off each other. She's probably the best thought partner I've ever worked with in education. So, and she's someone that I trust completely, and I have no problem confiding in her and anything and everything. And I know that it's not going anywhere. So, she's amazing to work with, and I couldn't be happier to sit here and watch her get taken care of.
Nice. And Lynette, is there anything you'd like to say?
I don't know if I can top that. I just want to say from the moment I met Darby, definitely a true professional, very committed to this district, obviously going into her 25th year here, but also being willing to be a leader during challenging times. She doesn't shy away from any challenges and is always ready to work with people to problem solve and make best interest for students. So thank you for all of that, Darby.
Thank you.
And we have a little certificate for you. We're going to do a couple pictures and let you get the first cupcake. And then
Wait a minute, hold on. First cupcake, come on, you got 10, is that enough? All right.
Oh, goodness.
so,
Me too?
I know Mike and Mary, if you'd like to come up also, since you've worked very closely both of you with Darby.
Congratulations, Darby.
All right, this way. Please.
Good?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Everyone can get a cupcake. We have a lot of them. Gluten-free for Darby.
I'll go get
I
one.
know I want one, I'm
Yeah.
getting one.
I tried to put them in the shape of the TH.
I've been looking for something
You did a great
since I
job.
got here.
It looks perfect.
I noticed it from all the way over here.
Thanks.
It does, it looks perfect.
I've been looking for something since I got here.
They go run.
No.
Now I'm just gonna give it this back.
Mom.
Here you go, here you go. Okay, there you go. Okay.
I do.
I'm so proud.
It doesn't take much of me. I'm a simple man.
Congratulations. And you got a smile.
I know, that's awesome, good for him. All right, all right, now we'll get back to, business here. Okay, we have the budget overview. Boy, after cupcakes, now this, huh?
Sorry. Sorry.
Well, I feel like we blinked and we're already back for this.
Yep.
So quickly, tonight, I actually wanted to start off with something different. We have some new teachers, new administrators that have asked to actually look at some of the budget presentations from years prior. So I thought to myself, like, what's some good valuable information that is easy to understand? So this is our budget process and timeline. So it's hard to believe that as soon as we pass the budget, we're already thinking about the next. Some teachers haven't even submitted their first expense for the year, and I'm already asking them to tell me what they want for next year. So in September, in October, we're actually starting that process of the budget initiative requests. So the administrators, myself, will push out emails to staff, just kind of getting a feel of what they'd want. So that's due to me on December 1st. Myself and Lynette, we're also looking at our reserve plan to make any modifications or changes during our financial conditioning workshop that happens in November. So during our financial conditioning workshop, we're looking at our reserve plan, any potential capital projects, and also our prior year expenses to see where we landed, where we fell short, where we had too much. So any of those changes are put into action in December and January, the ones that we're able to do with a board resolution. And then I'm beginning to collaborate and organize data and spreadsheets for the departments to start putting together their budgets. December is when our budget committee meets for the first time to look at those first initial budget requests that the teachers, the administrators, and the staff have put forth to us. I'll gather any additional information that the board requests or that Lynette requests. And then January is really when things start to kick off for me. The governor releases the executive budget proposal and the state aid projections. And we're also starting to actually finalize those smaller department budgets. In February is when really the pieces all start coming together. We get the contractual increases, the bigger increases. So health insurance, any of our liability insurance, those big pieces that make up the budget. We start requesting quotes for smaller contractual services. And then our tax levy limit, which is tonight. And then after tonight, once I submit the levy limit to the comptroller, I will start really having a draft number for our first budget workshop in March. So March, we have 2 budget workshops. April, we have 2 budget workshops. And then May is when we wrap it up. So we have the public hearing and then the vote. So this may look a little different than you've seen in the past. I actually laid this out long ways versus horizontal, like has it been in the past. So Foundation Aid also looks really different this year for us in a good way. The governor proposed that schools have a 2% increase across the board, which is great for us. Hold harmless stays for now. So you do see a 2% increase in the top section in green, and you also have that in front of you. So we are looking at a $164,000 increase in foundation aid. The top purple section are the expense-based aids. So that is aid that is generated based on our expenses from prior year. So Lucy completes a very, very lengthy ST3 that's submitted in November, along with all the departments that are helping her complete that. And that's how this aid is generated. Some of the keynotes in here is building aid. That is based on our projects that we have that are completing and falling off, and also our debt service. Transportation aid, along with the expenses that we submit, it's also our WADA is a factor in this calculation. So that's our resident weighted average daily attendance. So that's a function, the decrease is a function of us getting smaller, our enrollment, and just us getting smaller as a district. Instructional material aids. Shockingly, that is actually based on our land wealth. We don't ever see much fluctuation here, maybe a few $100s here and there, but that doesn't really change too much. Our other operating aids, high tax aid, that's a number that's given to us just based on where we are in the state. And this one here, aid for recent consolidations, you actually probably haven't seen it broken out that way before because it's this small amount is usually tied into building aid. But I thought it was interesting, and I thought it was important to lay out that this was likely due to the merger in Rogan that we are receiving that small amount still. Aid for early childhood education, that $302,000 there is usually on the board every single year. It's kind of a number that we've been given, but we're not actually allowed to access all of it. It's based on our enrollment in pre-K at the time, and so we're given a per student amount, and based on how many kids we have enrolled is how much we're actually able to access. So overall, assuming we would get the full pre-K aid, it's a 2.87% increase this year. And the fun stuff. The tax cap, some of the considerations, the tax-based growth factor, that is a growth factor that's given to us by the comptroller. This has actually decreased a little bit. So the tax-based growth factor is based on construction and any physical infrastructure improvements in our district. We actually saw that increase the last few years because of COVID and all of the new houses and the market. So now we're seeing a little bit of a decrease. And I will go through all of that here. So this is the calculation. At the top, we put our prior year levy. So we know we did a 2.99% increase last year. We grow it by the 1.0117. We add in our pilot that we're supposed to be getting, minus any of our local capital costs. So last year we were actually able to exclude this amount, but now we added in, now we have to exclude it. And then we are able to grow it again by the lesser of CPI or 2%. So again, we're at 2%, minus the receivable of the pilot for the following year, and plus our carryover, which gives us $26,757,557 for our levy limit of 4.48%.
So Ashley, can you explain carryover?
Yep.
Because a lot of people think carryover means that's how much money we had left over.
Yep.
And that's not the case.
So this is our carryover calculation. It's simply the two simple calculations that we have to do to determine what our carryover is. So 2025 levy limit, this is what we could have levied if we taxed the max. This is what we actually levied, which gives you that 428,000. Or the calculation is what we could have levied multiplied 1.5%, which gives us the 390,000. So we have to choose the smaller amount of the calculation. And the districts can choose to not use any of it. We can use some of it, or we can use all of it. And history shows we've always used all of it. just a visual of really what we've done in the last 10 years. The black is what we could have levied, allowable for New York State, and the orange is what we actually levied. These were our budget initiatives for this year. What you see in yellow are items that I will likely be able to purchase before the end of the school year, so those will actually come off. Some of the higher ticket items, grade 2 and 3 classroom furniture, that was on the table last year, but we actually decided not to do that last year just because of the uncertainty with foundation age, so we did stick to the lower items. But we are going to do that this year for sure. And then another higher ticket item is the gymnasium curtains, so big long curtains that come down, they have pretty much, they're at the last leg of their life. Any questions on the budget initiatives?
I know I made a comment at the budget committee meeting that I like that you tied these to an actual Board of Ed goal, so thank you for that.
Some considerations, there are some TBD things right now, workers' comp, unemployment, but these are the ones that we know. So teachers' retirement system actually is a decrease this year. It's 9.59, it's a decrease from 10.11. TRIC is a 5-year rolling average, so we are on a new set of 5 years. This is year 1, so that's 9.59. ERS increased, it's been trending, increasing. So it's 16.5%. Another thing that we need to consider is the COVID grants have expired. I did the math today, and we used 98.12% of all the funds that we were given since 2020 up until we're actually still using the last of it. But we will not have any access to that after this year. Again, workers' comp, TBD, unemployment, TBD. Health insurance, this is a really, really big projection here. 16% health insurance, 17.5% RX. Doing a very rough draft. We haven't moved anybody out or changed anybody in terms of their plans, but it's looking like it could be over $1 million increase from last year. So it's a really big expense. And then we know we have our contractual obligations to salaries, to our district insurance, which I don't have that number yet, hopefully within the next couple of weeks. And then this was kind of on the table last year. There was an increase to our resource deputy. We haven't figured out a final number yet, but we will see an increase there. And these are projected propositions. These are very rough draft, but our 25-26 budget, 1 board member for a 5-year term. We discussed in November increasing the capital reserve, our capital improvement project, plus our new debt service schedule, and any of our transportation vehicle purchases, which we will review in our March meeting, our March workshop. Bob Joe will be here to go through that. And your menu of options. So I gave you a projection at 1%, 2%, 3%, and then the tax, or the cap rather. And we can go anywhere in between. Don't recommend going lower than 0, but we will have discussions about this over the next month or so. And I will send this PowerPoint to you guys after tonight, so you have this. I did not print this out. It's much easier to look at on the computer.
Not for me. You know I like my paper.
Sorry. And just really quickly, upcoming, again, we have 2 budget workshops in March. We've got 2 in April, a public hearing, and then the vote. And just ongoing is our capital improvement project discussions. It's a bigger project, so it does take a lot of voices and a lot of heads to make it happen. And a TBD date, but for this type of project, we should have a public information meeting, so we will come up with a date for that. That's it. Anybody have any questions?
Thanks, Ash. Okay, next up is Nick, Buildings and Grounds.
Good evening, everybody.
Hi, Nick.
All right, so I'm going to talk to you tonight about some of the buildings and ground goals, where we are with those, and how they tie back to our strategic plan. So I'm sure you've seen this a few times, our mission and our vision. So the priority area that we looked at was operations, and the core values that we tried to tie back all of our goals to are honesty, integrity, and transparency, fiscal responsibility, respect, and safety and support. So first goal had to do with the communication area, and we wanted to ensure consistent and accurate information going basically with buildings and grounds between my staff, between my shifts, and how we relate things, and also got feedback. Second one was communication with regards to enhancing it for parents, for safety drills, and letting parents know the times and approximate dates when we're going to have those, so that they're a little bit more comfortable with what's going on here at the campus in terms of safety. We also, goal number 3, we looked at improving signage to make things safer on the campus and also inform people on where to go for specific things. Like if you're here for an athletics event, how to get to that area, or if you're here to drop off your child, where to drop off your child. And that's not in the bus, unless you're on a bus. But we've had people try it before. Goal number 4, we're looking at reorganizing some office spaces to make things flow a little bit smoother and be able to do some facility upgrades. So we want to create workflow. Alright. So now I'm going to talk to you for each one of those goals about some of the highlights and challenges that we've had with regards to those, as well as where we are. So highlights as far as enhancing communication in the buildings and grounds departments, particularly between shifts. So we used to have a time when first shift didn't know what second shift was doing, and everybody has a hard job. They're just different, and sometimes there could be animosity between employees, between shifts. And we found that having a shift change meeting and getting everybody together, and so that everybody can hear what our goals are within the department at the same time, has really brought that to, it's pretty much erased it, so that's really nice. There's still things that come up, but we're able to all sit down and kind of hash it out. Some of the challenges that we face with that are some staff are hesitant to provide feedback in the open setting. Some people are just shy. They don't want to speak up in front of everybody. So, we've worked on some resolutions to that. I know which people don't really want to speak up, so I'll have conversations with them on the side later and try to figure out their thoughts on the different things that we're doing in the department. Okay. So some indicators of success: our staff will demonstrate a thorough understanding of industry practices and expectations, leading to a clean, safe environment conducive to learning. So right here we go over the methods, the way we do things, and this is the end product. When our staff does floor care and things like that, our floors come out, just like professionals did it, because in my opinion, professionals did do it. They do a great job. Some anticipated indicators of success, okay? Clearer information flow, improved collaboration, enhanced feedback exchange, and positive workplace atmosphere. I'm gonna tell you, 15 years ago, a lot of this stuff would have never happened. And it's really great to see our staff just getting involved in things. So there's these are 2 different years. So the first year, it was the 4 individuals that, dressed up, and then more people jumped on and they did a whole thing for a big part of the day and interacted with all the students. So it's really awesome that we're able to do those types of things. And here's some of our staff from inside of the building working with staff from outside of the building to just get a job done. And when we talk about the collaboration and things like that, I don't always just solve everything for the staff. Like I'll say, hey, this is a job we've got. Help me figure out how to do it. So, a lot of what we did here, they'll tell me what we need to do, and how we're going to get there. We'll talk it out. We'll make sure that it's the right way, and then we'll go ahead and we'll tackle the project. All right. Talk about communication with safety drills. So, reduced apprehension during drills, allowing students and staff to remain calm and focused on the drill's objectives. So we're trying to train people how to be safe in an emergency, and if they're nervous and, they're not really paying attention to what they're supposed to do, then they're not going to learn how to respond appropriately. So just by giving everybody a heads up, hey, we're going to have a drill this week, it kind of alleviates some of that. One of the challenges that we ran into was the initial guidance. Now, this is kind of ironic because we're talking about good communication. The initial guidance from the New York State Education Department lacks some clarity. Like, how far in advance should we let parents and guardians know? But once we were able to get that information and get it out, everything pretty much smoothed out for us. So we want to remain in compliance with New York State Education Department standards regarding emergency drills. Students and staff feel safe during the drills. Again, they know what's happening. Parents and guardians are well informed of drill activities taking place, and students and staff are prepared for emergency situations due to the training we receive. All important things. Then they're over there on the right, that's our standard response protocol, and that's basically what we train everybody to do for different types of emergencies. And we are able to practice those. All right, so increased awareness of drills, increased trust and confidence, that's really important. We want parents and guardians to trust what we're doing and be confident that we know what we're doing, and reduce anxiety and misunderstanding. All right, improved signage. So this is an important one. If you stand outside in the morning during drop-off, previously, it was an interesting thing to watch. So we were able to figure out, we had cars coming down the bus lane, we had cars dropping off out in the parking lot area, we also had people dropping off in the drop-off lane, but no one, everybody had their own system. So worked with Mary, and we were able to come up with some signage. So we were able to get one-way traffic, do not enter for the bus lanes, buses only. Never saw a kiss and drop sign before.
That's cute.
But we were able to get that.
Years ago, they didn't kiss you, you put the sign up.
Oh, I'm old school. Like, if I got driven to school, I was lucky if my parents slowed down while I don't need to be cool. So the other thing we did, like we talked about, is added some signage so that people knew where to go for different types of events.
Do we have that, Nick? Because the only reason I ask is because I did meet probably 4 or 5 people in the fishbowl one night that I was coming in here, and they were looking for, I don't know, wrestling practice, and I said, listen, I'll let you in this time. I said, but this is where you're supposed to go.
Right.
So I guess, yeah.
It does get a little bit confusing too.
Yeah.
So it helps, also if we have to work communication at that level too. So like the sign that we have out front that says this is the entrance for the board meeting. That's a good example of what we've done. We've made some signs that go on the high school entrance that say, if you're here for an athletic contest, you're supposed to go over to the packed courtyard and go in that way. But because where it gets confusing is probably what you ran into. Some people are waiting outside of those doors for kids to get done with practice, but they come out the front doors because we don't have people posted in those areas. So yeah, we still have to kind of observe and then react accordingly. But yes, we are getting that.
I mean, I told them what to do, and they were appreciative. They said, well, now we know where to go next time, so, but still.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I said, if I didn't come along, they'd still be standing in there.
Some things that we expect to see is, again, improved access to facilities, enhanced safety and awareness, positive feedback from all of our stakeholders, higher compliance with safety guidelines such as speed limits, and improved traffic flow and reduce congestion. You probably noticed in the spring there that we had these speed bumps out there and the 10-mile-an-hour signs, because you would be surprised that from the entrance of the parking lot, so you hit the drop-off lane, some cars can actually hit 45 to 50 miles an hour. So we deem that to be very unsafe, so that's the reason why you saw the speed bumps out there, and they will go back out come spring. But we also have the speed limit signs, so that we remind people to in the newsletters and things like that. Reorganizing office spaces and facilities upgrades, so we talked about capital improvement projects and things like that. So we've completed our building condition survey, and the 5-year capital improvement plan is underway, along with project design. So we're, preliminary phases of that. Some of the challenges you run into is optimizing the project scope while staying in budget. We have a huge wish list. We have a million things that we want to do, a million things that we'd like to see done, but prioritizing and making sure that we're tackling everything in the correct order and, taking care of things that should be taken care of at the time that you're in the project. It doesn't make sense to start a project on the pool and drain the pool and maybe not grout a crack in the pool. So those types of things we need to make sure that we address, and we do it in an efficient way. So we want our final design to incorporate stakeholder input and foster student success, and staying on schedule within budget is always important, and obviously carrying the project out safely and efficiently. Anticipated indicators of success that we hope to see: improved employee satisfaction, positive impact on collaboration and productivity, improved aesthetics, space utilization efficiency, timely completion and budget adherence, again, and alignment with our organizational goals, our strategic plan. So reorganizing offices and getting people in places where things are more efficient is definitely important. So how our goals move us forward, creating a foundation for collaboration and problem solving and continuous improvement, improves the physical environment, promotes safety and inclusivity, and enhances operational efficiency, and we look to foster a positive school culture. There's my team after one of their afternoon meetings right there. Any questions for me?
Thanks, Nick.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, we got John Dodds. Information Technology Department update.
I'm gonna start off with my team, I'm not gonna end with it, so. We got, Matt, Troy, Zach, and Mr. Proper works very closely with us. Again, you've seen this, give you a minute to read it. And hope you'll be there. All right. This, it says 24, 25 priorities, but really these 4 things are, it doesn't matter what year it is. I started in 2012. These were the same goals back then. I mean, the end result gets a little bit different, more complicated, but data integration, protection, and backups is my #1 priority. Cybersecurity is really come on strong. Very important to keep us all protected in the virtual world. And of course, I consider this, I did work at Columbia Tractor for a short time in the maintenance department, and it was always what the customer wanted. And the customers are the parents, the administrators, and the teachers here. And I stress that with my guys, and we're here to help them. Every 3 years, we have a tech plan. That was going to be, it was actually supposed to be 25 to 28, but they bumped it off a year. So that we'll be working on that a lot this coming year. That's the wrong one. From the strategic plan, we chose 3 goals. Promote balance and mindful use of technology, implement universal communication, and provide parents with easier access to technology. 3 goals that our department is working on is the tech plan, obviously. We're going to keep cybersecurity, which is KnowBe4 training, but basically we got to have 3 goals in that, and we're going to go from there on that. New York State Ed Law 2D is getting more prevalent. Interesting little side note here in the last week and a half. Power Schools, which is a SIS, Student Information System, like School, thank you, the one that we use. They had a major breach, and it was from like 15 years ago. So the state of New York is trying to figure out what are they going to do. So I'm really interested to see how the state of New York is going to handle this, because they signed the contract saying our data was safe. Well, not our data, but people that use that product. So I'm really, this is the first real test of the system. So it'll be fun to watch. School Bonds Act, that's from 2017. We spent most of our money, but we got a little bit left. And we're going to be working on rewriting that and getting that used up and spent. Action steps, promote balance and mindful use of technology. Technology doesn't fix everything. There are other ways. The translators is something new that Sandra's ELL department came up with. And to me, that's really not technology. It's a handheld device, earplugs, and it translates. It's been very useful, and hope to see more of that. And then cyber security promotion, October is cybersecurity month. We're gonna be pushing that. Action steps for goal number 2 is communication. That's Apogee, ThrillShare, and that takes care of the website, Facebook, Instagram, and the rooms. It also does the attendance calling, the all calls that go out, which can be a voice, text, or message. So, action step goal number 3 is making technology easier for parents to use and know what their kids are doing. It's the ThrillShare rooms, and we had Alexis and Mr. Proper at Parent Teacher Night there to help parents get on and use the device, programs. So, and then there's been a bazillion phone calls.
Was it well received at open house?
The ones that were there, yes.
Good.
Highlights and challenges for the IT department. I got 3 of each. The Titan Voyager, that was a tremendous, I just, when I leave here, I'm very proud of that bus because it was a community effort between all of us to get that thing built, and it's nice to see it being used. It went out to all the summer programs. Classroom teachers are starting to use it. We've got some things lined up in the spring where teachers want to go out and camp in it and hold a class in it. So it's just a different environment and keep kids interested. Technology Day, that produced the Active Floor and the Z-Space, are 2 products. The Active Floor is really taken on. It's booked every day for at least 3 periods, if not all the periods. Mr. Proper's been working hard on showing people, and they're going in there, and we've got teachers using it all by themselves now. And the kids love it because it's a projection on the floor. No picture there, later on I'll show you. And it's activity. You know, the kids are moving around rather than just getting wrist action. Music lab. Mrs. Gardner had a group come in, and kind of off the cuff, I asked them to stop in and look at the music lab because they were looking at some other things, and the other people from other districts were very impressed on how it was up to date. Teachers are using it, kids are involved to the point that I guess Rebecca Miller was talking about a basketball player that asked for a keyboard for Christmas. So, because of the music lab. The challenges: parent, teacher, administration involvement in technology, communicating with everyone, getting them on the same page so that login and using the computers are easier. Hopefully we'll get Mrs. Torsia to be more active. My goal is always finding new innovative technology. Again, the Active Floor, and I like to have our kids have the latest and greatest. So, and then the School Bonds Act is going to be a challenge, just rewriting that and presenting it to you guys later on. Indicators of success, of course, approval of the tech plan, approval of the School Bonds Act, teacher utilization of available technology, and ThrillShare usage reports. I'm hoping help desk tickets will be more complicated, not just come change the printer toner or my projector isn't turning on. It's more, how do I use this? That's what I'm hoping to see. And then, of course, board approval of the tech plan and school bonds. And then know before training. In fact, I spent an hour and a half here just before the meeting, getting it all set up so that we can do our yearly training next month. So I'm hoping to get that rolling again. And where do the funds come from? E-rate grants, school bonds, and budget line items. So the School Bonds Act, we're gonna finish that up. E-rate is every year. I've used up, it's on a 3 or 5 year cycle, but this is the final year, so next year we'll start off with new funds. But I've used up everything down to the last penny on the E-rate. Grants, we have a 35K grant for the camera system. So every year I'm spending $35 or $35,000 on getting new cameras, updated cameras, installing new cameras in different locations for surveillance. Any questions? Here's the active floor. You can see the kids stepping on it, different activities. So that's it.
Thank you, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
Okay. Now we have the superintendent report.
Okay. I just have a few highlights. I did want to. Having trouble already. Ongoing initiatives we know are there. The goal, my personal goal as superintendent, and I just wanted to take a moment to share a few indicators of success already that we're seeing mid-year. Focusing on a sense of community and a culture of leadership. All administrators being visible in the district and classrooms. I attend as many events regularly as I can, continuing to recognize faculty and staff with birthday cards, thank yous, and highlighting celebrations, and making sure that they're acknowledged in bi-weekly emails that we send out as well. The other goal of enhancing the leadership capacity and effectiveness of each administrator and supervisor. We continue to have bi-weekly cabinet meetings with our whole leadership team. Also bi-weekly instructional cabinet meetings. And then monthly we have the TILT, which is our Titan Instructional Leadership Team. It's our professional development that we do as administrators in the district, and building and department goals aligned to the strategic plan, which I think you've noticed through the state of the building workshops, as well as the presentations that you've seen tonight. Ongoing alignment of policies, practices, and procedures. The policy committee continues to update policies for our district through NISBA, which gives us suggestions, and then any requests or items that we feel are important for our district to focus on. We're continuing to work on strengthening our systems to make them systemic, and writing handbooks and guides for departments, because we have a lot of good practices, but if somebody left, if we want to make sure that everything, how we do things is in order and everyone understands. So the writing of it isn't as important as the daily, but it's a good piece of organization for us to have. And emphasis on improving the learning of students and adults. We're all learners here, and so we started this year with, I should have put tier 1, which is our instructional expectations for all our classrooms. Building administration has focused very clearly on learning targets in all classrooms, movement strategies, and differentiation to meet student needs, as well as our word of the week and incorporating vocabulary strategies that will really help students to learn to use, write, and speak with, and know their vocabulary really well. Not just to do well on assessments, but to utilize that in everyday and build their critical thinking. We have our friendly feedback cards that we use when we visit classrooms to focus and highlight on positives, so that people know that we recognize all of the great things that are happening. And then we continue to work with Better Lesson to do walkthroughs with groups of teachers and administrators to talk about how we can get even better at what we're doing. Oh, there's more. It seems so long now, sorry. Indicators of success also for monitoring and celebrating our work. continuing to give those biweekly updates to faculty and staff, acknowledging excellence in our school by recognizing students and staff's accomplishments. And we want to limit the new initiatives. So even though we've been doing a lot, the focus has been on the strategic plan and aligning that work. We started the new Reveal Math program, K through 8 this year. Broad Street pre-K curriculum, that's new to that team. And then we'll be rolling out our social emotional screener in March with the idea of allowing our adults to be comfortable with it and learn about it so that we can then use it effectively starting in the fall. So trying to balance all of this out, even though there's so many priorities all the time. Monthly highlights, we had our Lunar New Year, which really ended up being a lot of fun. The cafeteria stands out this month in a lot of ways. They made a delicious lunch, they dressed up, they all had t-shirts that matched, they decorated. The pre-K and kindergarten registration is now open. We've already had 23 pre-K submissions and 3 for kindergarten. We've continued to visit classrooms, and then on January 18th, the Community Science Symposium was here, and Linda Hopkins led that and did a great job. And again, congratulations to Darby. I think we've said all those things, but you can see how actively engaged she is just even in the pictures. So thank you again, Darby, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Just some more pictures of all of the Lunar New Year celebrations that were happening. And the middle picture with the red Chinese lanterns, that's in the high school. So we usually find elementary celebrating this morning. It was great to see it across the district. And that's what we just talked about. And we are announcing tonight the retirement of Dr. Sandra Gardner. 16 years of service in the district. She's brought enrichment opportunities through promoting Berkshire Taconic Foundation for grants that teachers apply for, the Farm Initiative, the Farm to School programming, partnerships with some unique opportunities for our students, such as High and Mighty Horse Farm for therapeutic training and learning, CATA, which comes and works with some of our special education students in their classrooms, Dancescapes, setting up CTE pathways for students and making sure we have AP and college level courses. She's someone who's been committed to the district, has a care for staff and students, and a passion for our ENL students and families. Thank you, Sandra.
Yes, thanks, Sandra.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then these are just upcoming month at a glance, but I think we're good. We send these out to you weekly, and I know, just want to highlight that in about a month, we can look forward to another great musical production from the students, so that'll be a highlight. All right, any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Our student liaison's not here tonight.
Oh, can I say 2 more things? I
You
totally
can.
forgot about. I'm
Yes.
sorry, because it's not in there.
Sure.
Because these are 2 updates, but the PTO puts out the Ducky Valentines. And this is the 2nd year in a row where every student from Head Start through 8th grade will get a Valentine's duck on Friday. And I just think it's great because it makes them feel special and loved. And the other thing was to highlight the cafeteria and all that Kyle Matler is doing. Today was another harvest of the month. It was cabbage. They made pierogi and knockwurst for kids to try. And then at the end of the month, he made a connection in some of his travels with somebody who runs the Sabrett hot dog cart. And so they're gonna bring it here, so our kids can experience that, which will be really fun. And the last quick update is, as we work on finishing our EV bus project, NYSEG has been here in the last 2 days to work on doing that final piece that we need to finish rolling that out, so that's exciting. And thank you to Bobby, Joe, and Nick, because I would say, can you check NYSEG again? Can you check NYSEG again? And they just, and we're willing to do that, and I believe that had an impact in finally getting them here. So thank you.
Okay, thanks. On the budget committee report, I'll read that because Kevin's not here. So the budget committee, we discussed the governor's executive budget proposal for foundation aid. And we also discussed the upcoming capital improvement project of the various building improvements, a lot of the things that Nick talked about tonight. The budget committee also discussed the proposed tax levy limit, which we actually presented tonight as well. And we reviewed and discussed the submitted proposed budget initiatives for this year that Ashley had put up on the screen there, and they total $546,000 and $546,620, sorry. We'll meet again on April 9th to review the draft final budget proposal. All right. Now we have the Board of Education member activity reports. I'll start with you, Janine.
I guess I went to the workshop with the principals doing the high school and the elementary. I enjoyed that. And I've been going to a bunch of basketball games.
I should have won last night. It's all close. They were winning the whole game.
But yeah, I've been going to a lot of basketball games and it's fun. It was like senior night or something last night, yeah. So
Oh, wow, already?
Yeah, I think like the season's over.
John?
I went to a workshop. Outside of that, I've been kind of laying low. Winter time.
Margaret?
I went to the National Honor Society induction, which was the day after our last meeting, feels like a lifetime ago now. Jennifer Jameson did an amazing job. The way it was set up, there were candles, there were flowers. And if you've never been, each student that's a senior does a personalized induction of a student coming up into the program, and it's really incredible because they say very personal things about them. They commend all they're doing, so it's just this really like collegial community, like feels really nice. I've been to a bunch of basketball games, happily, hopefully over for the season. No, they're fun. And I want to do an upcoming thing, which is March 17th, I believe. Details still to be worked out. I'm going to be coming in and teaching young kids, whichever ones I'm allowed to do, some Irish step dancing.
Oh, cool.
Which is something I used to do, and hopefully
you're gonna have
all
dance
be
for
invited.
us.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'd like to, and I would happy to do that, but maybe not tonight.
You have to come all dressed up, too.
Yes, yes. Well, I don't fit into my little Irish costume. I'll show it.
Yeah, that's cool. Ron?
I will not be doing any Irish,
Okay.
and you'll all be grateful for that. I did go to the basketball senior night, got to walk out there with my son, embarrass him. I shouted out, "Go Titans!" He looked at me like he had a hairball stuck in his throat. God bless him. And, yeah, it was fun, and, you know, moving on to the next season. That's it.
Molly?
Nothing.
All right, Heidi? The workshop, I just want to mention, for the board members that didn't come, I was really very happy with the presentation. I mean, the elementary school, they showed us, you know, what they're doing there it's more about student involvement, getting the students involved in their own education. And what they presented was amazing. It was really a good plan. So I'm excited to see how it's going to work. Mike gave us a presentation for the high school. Again, it's about, you know, getting the kids together in a town hall. What classes do you want to take? I mean, that's what I love to see. It's all about student involvement, making them part of their future, make them make those decisions. So it was a great presentation. So I just wanted to congratulate you on that. So you?
Dee? This seems to be the place where I talk about the legislative committee, so I'll give you an update on daycare because we haven't talked about it in a while. When we last talked and you folks gave us a head nod to move forward, we had a preliminary plan in place and we had a budget in place and we were heading out to look for money. So we headed out, looked for money and had some discussion with Rhinestrom, and we had some discussions with Berkshire Taconic, all of whom fully support what we want to do. They think it's a great idea, but nobody has any money at this moment. So the governor, however, has come up with her executive budget. And inside the executive budget, she is proposing $100 million to construct and renovate daycare sites. So Bonnie and I had a Zoom meeting with governor, staff, and council yesterday. And we talked to them, showed them who we are, told them we were in need and in support of that proposal, and that we would look forward to receiving that money when she gets it. So we also started thinking about the way the law is written. And then just follow me here if you can, because this is kind of important, the way the words are written in the law. The law states in education law that a school district may provide daycare in their building. It is a permissible use. And it says that the board has the discretion as to whether or not to provide it. Then there's a sentence after that that says such care shall not be paid for by taxpayer monies. So we have two different opinions on, from two different district lawyers, okay, as to what that means. One seems to think that we can't spend any money on it. The other says, well, care means the care that they get. Okay, it doesn't necessarily mean facility. So we, since we have a tie between two lawyers, basically, we reached out to SED. We reached out to the comptroller's office. That, why not go to the two most feared agencies in the state, okay, and get their opinion on it. The lawyer who had the best response for us is contacting the comptroller's office, and we're hopeful that we'll get something from them that says we can use capital reserve funds to do the renovations, and then tuition paid for by the parents is what's going to cover the cost of the care. I would just say that the governor's office, when we were speaking to them yesterday, had kind of preemptively reached out to SED to ask our question, and SED said, yeah, we've got a couple of questions on that, but we don't know what the answer is. So we're in kind of uncharted territory here.
And no one wants to give us an either definite yes or a definite no. So it's like everyone's saying, well, maybe you can, maybe, so it's like we are waiting for them to say we can do this, and no one's willing to do that.
The law doesn't say that we can't. It
Correct.
doesn't say that we can. So I guess there's a legal opinion that says that as well. And so we'll see what the comptroller comes up with, and then we'll report back to you, and then we have a decision to make.
And that 100 million that's pending budget approval.
Correct.
Not just for us.
Well, and what they did say in the call, so out of that 100 million that she has slated for this proposal, which of course it has to be voted on, but she said 25 million of that 100 would go to counties and municipalities. So Rick's question is, well, why can't you add school districts to that line instead of just saying count? I mean, what the lawyer for the governor, the one that was on the call, said was that we could ask the county for the money. Like the county could apply for the money. Right, exactly. Exactly. I would like to say school district so that we can apply ourselves, correct? So I mean, so they just recommended contacting our legislators to try to get the legislators to get the governor to add school districts to that proposal. So we're hoping that we are in contact with Josh Riley's office. We haven't made an appointment yet, but I did get contacted by them today to set up a call with them. And Michelle Henchigan will be meeting as well. She's been backing us ever since we met with her last year. So she's on board. So we just need to meet with her to try to say, listen, we need to get this in the language. So
we think we're getting closer.
We are. We're getting closer. It's just this, it's a saga. Yeah. So yeah, is that it?
That's it.
All right. All right, so now we're at the granting of the tenure. So now policies. I need a motion for, let's see, for the second read. So we're going to approve these policies tonight. So I need a motion for the policies. Motion, Margaret. Second, Molly. And then Margaret, you want to talk a little bit about
Sure,
policies?
yeah.
Give me a chance to blow my nose.
There's 4 policies that are second read now. They're pretty short ones. Community eligibility for the meal program, student assignment, which just means that parents could request a particular teacher, but the final decision resides with the administration. And then we're just updating in the non-discrimination a couple of things and the cross-reference numbers. Those are shorter policies. Next month, we're gonna have the bigger Title IX policy coming in, the sexual harassment policies. So that's actually a short one that just shows all the places you can cross-reference.
Yeah, they just added like a word or two,
Yeah,
right?
so it's not a lot of changes there, but, yeah, that's it for policies this month.
Thanks, Margaret. Anybody have any other questions on that? All in favor? Okay, so now we have insurance proceeds. Need a motion for that to accept money from the October 2nd, 2024 motor vehicle accident and then supplemental from the 2018 Chevy Express. Motion, please. Margaret, second. Joe, any questions? All in favor? Okay, we need a resolution to close the 2023 capital project fund. Motion, please. Margaret, second. Janine, any questions? All in favor? All right, so now we have the personnel agenda. It's going to go A through W is a walk-on. I think you all have that in front of you. We added that. So I need a motion for that, please. Joe, second. Margaret? And we can go through that. There were some notes I made here. So I know that Lynette spoke about Sandra retirement on June 30th. So I just wanted to say congratulations again to you. She served the district for 16 years. She cares about the students. That I know for sure. It's one of probably her biggest attributes. She's dedicated to providing opportunities. She's done a lot of, I know they talked about some of the things, and you also brought the science symposium here as well, correct? I just mentioned, I saw that on the screen tonight, so I was like, I know that Sandra started that as well. So, you brought a lot of interesting programs here to the district. You're committed to the district as an employee, a taxpayer, and a parent. So, we thank you for your service to the school district. You've done a lot while you've been here, so we wish you well. And let's see. So we also have tonight, we have our new, I'm trying to find it here. Last page? Oh, that's what we added, okay. So W is our last, it's our, Barrett Erickson is here tonight. She's our new Director of Pupil Personnel Services. So welcome, Barrett.
Thank you. Very excited.
We're excited as well, so thank you. You go ahead, yes.
I just want to congratulate Bonnie Payne on her
Oh yeah, Bonnie, I was
very
there.
soon-to-be appointment as head bus driver. I think you'll do a great job. Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations, Bonnie. I was getting there.
Oh.
I know you did. We have a student intern, which is really cool. That's going to be working with you, Sandra, the new.
It's a special education teacher in the district, and she's working on her administrative degree.
Oh, nice. All right. And I think I have, I guess that's it. Has anybody else got any other questions?
Can I say something?
You can, yes.
Well, I'm excited, Bonnie, that you are taking on this new challenge. Congratulations, and we're excited to have you step up into that leadership role. And I just want to welcome Barrett. We're excited to have her join us. Just 20 years, over 20 years of experience as a special education teacher, a coach. She has been an instructional leader, and she has a lot to offer us. And one thing that stood out besides her energy and excitement when she was interviewing and going through that process is she just talked about being a transformational leader and the importance of that, and that's what we're doing here. So we're excited to have her join our team. Thank you.
Okay, anyone have anything else? All in favor? All right. Do we have anybody for public session number 2? No. All right. Additional items to discuss. I had written down here talking about the daycare, but Rick covered that in his, the board report, so, I have nothing else. Anybody have anything else with additional items?
I have a quick question, not big here. So once it's approved and we get the money, how long does it take for the process to happen, you know, like for it to get transformed and working?
That's gonna depend. Nick, you wanna talk to that? You can put yourself on that.
That's the fun.
I suppose it would depend, like you said, it's uncharted territory, so if it has to go through all of the traditional SED approvals, then you have usually a 8 to 10 month queue. You have your design phase that happens before that, so realistically, you're looking at 1.5 to 2 years after you receive funding.
I mean, it really has been a saga. You know, there's only one other school district in the whole entire state that does this, and we learned that one of the reasons that they got it done, it's a small school district, was number one, but they had a legislator that went to bat for them. So that's kind of what we have to, you know, that's why we're trying to go that route, because it's new and no one knows what, I mean, as you can see, Rick's been calling people and emailing, and no one can give us a clear answer as to what we can do or not do. So, I mean, we pretty much are going to be the poster child for this, because this is a hot ticket item. I mean, all school districts, not all, but a lot of school districts are looking to do this. NISBA, that's one of their number one resolutions that they're going to take to the legislation. So it is something, and like I said, we've already kind of started this whole process. So we're going to be someone that other school districts are going to look to see how we did it. And, you know, we're stumbling in the dark right now, so we're just going to lead the way pretty much. Yeah. Any other questions or any items to discuss? All right. I need a motion to go into executive session for purposes of discussing current litigation. Margaret and Heidi. All in favor? Okay. Thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight. Get home safe tonight. I don't know what it's doing out there, but hopefully it's not too bad yet.
Thanks, everyone. Darby, maybe grab another cupcake for the road.
Take one home for your husband.